What if the thing standing at the foot of your bed every night isn't sleeping when you wake up? Tonight, I'm sharing real accounts from people who've experienced something that goes beyond sleep paralysis, something that medical science can't explain. These aren't dreams. They're encounters with something that feeds while we're helpless. And once it finds you, it never really leaves. Emma Wallace was 32 when it started. She'd wake at 4:23 a.m., always that exact time, unable to move, unable to scream. Standard sleep paralysis, her doctor said. Stress-related, nothing to worry about. But Emma knew better, because the shadow in her doorway was getting closer each night. First week, it stood in the hallway, just a dark shape, watching. Second week, it moved to her bedroom threshold. By week 3, it was beside her bed. She could feel its breath, cold, wrong, like air from a tomb. The worst part, Emma told me, wasn't the paralysis. It was knowing this thing was studying me, learning me, and I was completely helpless. On night 27, Emma woke to find it straddling her chest. She felt pressure, unbearable weight crushing her ribs. She tried to scream, but no sound came. The entity's face was inches from hers. No features, just smooth, dark nothing. Then it whispered, "Almost ready." Emma broke free from the paralysis, gasping, sobbing. But when she turned on the lights, she found something that made her blood freeze. Wet footprints, leading from her doorway to her bed. And they weren't hers. Marcus Thompson thought he was losing his mind. The episode started after his divorce. Paralysis, night terrors, the usual symptoms. But then came the scratches. He'd wake with long, deliberate marks down his chest, 3 parallel lines, like something had tested its claws on him. His doctor suggested he was doing it in his sleep. Self-harm from stress. Marcus knew that was impossible. The scratches were too deep, too precise. "I set up a camera," Marcus said. "I had to know." The footage showed him sleeping normally until 2:47 a.m. Then his body went rigid. His eyes snapped open but remained unfocused, locked on the ceiling. For 3 minutes, nothing moved except his chest, rapid, panicked breathing. Then his body jerked, once, twice, 3 times, like something was dragging claws down his torso through the blanket. But the camera showed nothing touching him. Marcus watched that footage 17 times, looking for any explanation. On the 18th viewing, he noticed something. Just before his body jerked, there was a frame, a single frame, where the bedroom looked different. Darker, distorted, and in that frame, something was leaning over him. Marcus never watched the footage again. He moved apartments the next week, but the scratches followed him. After researching hundreds of accounts, I found the pattern. It always starts the same way. Sleep paralysis becomes regular, predictable. The entity appears distant at first, testing boundaries. Then, it gets closer, bolder. People report the same sensations: crushing chest pressure, the feeling of being studied, whispers in languages they don't understand. Some mention the cold, unnatural cold that radiates from the presence. But the most disturbing commonality? They all describe the same ending. The night when the entity finally says, "You're ready." And after that night, something fundamental changes. They're different, hollowed out, like something took a piece they can't get back. Sarah Bennett documented her experience in voice memos. I'm going to share her last recording, made at 5:38 a.m. on October 14th. Her voice is shaking. "It happened again, but this time was different. I woke up paralyzed, and it was right there. Not beside the bed. Inside it. With me. I could feel it merged with my body, like it was wearing me. And then I heard myself speak. But I wasn't speaking, it was using my voice. It said, 'Thank you for the invitation. I never invited anything. I never.'" The recording cuts off. Sarah called me later that day. She sounded calm, too calm. "It's gone," she said. "The paralysis stopped. I'm sleeping fine now." I asked her how she felt. There was a long pause. "Empty," she finally said, "like I'm living in a house where someone else paid the rent." Here's what the medical community won't tell you. Sleep paralysis is real. The hallucinations are explained by hypnagogia, the state between waking and sleeping. But that doesn't explain the physical evidence, the scratches, the footprints, the recordings that show things cameras shouldn't capture. Some researchers believe sleep paralysis creates a vulnerability, A moment when our consciousness is exposed, accessible. And there are things that have learned to exploit that window. They feed on fear, yes. But they're after something deeper, something essential. Your sense of safety in your own body, your trust in your own mind, the boundary between you and everything else. And once they've fed, they leave something behind, a connection, a doorway they can use whenever they want. If you've experienced sleep paralysis, you know the terror. But if you've experienced it more than once, in the same location, at the same time, with the same presence, it's not random. It's targeted. And the worst part? You've already invited it in. The moment you felt that first surge of fear, the moment you acknowledged its presence, you created the link. Now comes the real question. How do you uninvite something that's already part of you? Some people never figure it out. They just learn to live with the weight. The cold spots in their bedroom. The feeling of being watched. The certainty that when they close their eyes tonight, something will be waiting. And maybe that's the point. Maybe these entities don't want to destroy us. They just want to remind us of something we've forgotten. We're not alone in the dark, they said. We've never been alone. It's just that we've finally learned to open our eyes.
Thanks for watching. Every ending hides the beginning of another tale, and ours is already on its way. Stay tuned. You'll find the next chapter right here, and soon.